I know who it is.
What?
I said I know who it is.
Who?
It's Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees? You're out of your fucking mind. You've been out in the sun too long. Jason Voorhees is dead. His body was cremated. He's nothing but a handful of ash.
Welcome to Comic Chop News. I'm Dan, and we're going to be continuing the review series of Friday the 13th, today with Friday the 13th, Part 5, and New Beginning. Interesting movie after the final chapter. Real interesting in the fact that they got a former porn director to do the movie, to direct it, and they made the decision, spoilers up front here, to go with a fake Jason. And there's dream sequences with Tommy and then reality sequences. And they did an interesting thing. The chevron colors on the mask are different colors. So I think it's blue for the dream one and then red for the one in reality. They couldn't get Corey Feldman to be in this movie because by this point Steven Spielberg had scooped him up. And in Crystal Lake Memories, the casting agent talks about, how busy this kid's schedule was to the point where they had to go to his house to shoot the opening scene of the movie. So the opening scene of the movie is, it's a rainy night, and Corey Feldman, Tommy, is following these guys out to Jason's grave. He's wearing a rain slicker, and these guys are digging up Jason. And Jason comes back to life, kills them, and then he's going towards Tommy, and as he's getting ready to slash down, we jump ahead, and it's an older Tommy played by John Shepherd, waking up from a dream. He's being transferred to a halfway house after being in the Unger Institute for years and having all these different medications and treatments done to him. He's suffering from severe PTSD after what happened with his family and Jason. This halfway house has some interesting characters there. We have the goth girl Violet. We have Robin, which never really say what exactly her issue is. We have the stutterer. We have Vic, played by Mark Venturini, who Return of the Living Dead Part 1 he was in. He has, I guess you'd say, anger issues. You have Deborah Voorhees and her boyfriend Eddie, who are playing, I guess, the young nymphos, which I don't really know if that's actually a mental issue or not, enough to be put in a halfway house for. We also have Joey. Joey, other than seems to be a problem eater, always carrying chocolate bars with him. So we start to introduce here, and then Pam, who is the assistant counselor for this place. Of course, it's on Crystal Lake, which seems like it'd be a real dumb idea to bring Tommy back there. But that's a whole other issue. Tommy's basically catatonic. Pam manages to talk him, out of the car and going up to his room, and that's where he opens the closet and sees a spider there. And we are introduced to Reckless Reggie, played by Dudley from Different Strokes. And he's like, "You scared of spiders? You scared of rubber spiders? You're one scared cat." And Tommy goes and grabs one of his masks out and scares him. And he kind of lets him know that, he makes his own masks. This goes on for a bit. And while the kids are doing chores, Joey is going around trying to help people. He gets chocolate on the clothes that Violet and Robin were cleaning. They tell him to go away, so then he goes over to Vic, who's chopping wood, kind of annoying him. And Joey just is a schlub, and he turns around, and Mark takes the axe and buries it in him. And also, in between this time, we are introduced to Ethel and Junior. Ethel is the fine connoisseur of curse words. She's like a crazy redneck with her dumb son, and she caught the kids screwing on her property and said that she'll, kill them.
Perverts were doing in my yard.
Say it like you mean it, Ma.
Would you shut the fuck up? Now, I'm gonna tell all of you. You mark my words. The next little bastard comes near my farm, I'm gonna blow your fucking brains out. You hear me?
Interesting characters. It's just a very weird movie. So, after Vic kills him, you have the paramedics come, take the body, and we set this up early. The one paramedic, Roy, is just staring. He's got a 1,000-yard stare. And it's not a hint or anything to later. From there, we start going into these murders happening. There's these two greasers. I don't even remember their names, but they're the first to die. One of the paramedics from the mental institute, Billy, he's going to pick up his woman from the diner, and I think her name's Lana, and he's doing coke in the car. They both get killed. There are some interesting kills in this. I'd say one of the best ones were Deborah Voorhees' character and the boyfriend Eddie in it. She gets pruning shears across her eyes, and then Eddie against the tree gets a leather strap, and it's like a tourniquet getting turned and gets his head crushed. You will notice that the tourniquet's going two different ways in it. Just a little thing you may or may not notice. We are also introduced to one of my favorite characters, Demon, and his girlfriend, and they are Reckless Reggie's brother and his girlfriend. And there's just a moment where they meet, and, he's giving him his ring. And as soon as Reggie leaves, he's like, I love my kid brother. And she's like, make you feel better, hit this. And then all of a sudden he grabs his stomach. He's like, oh, damn enchiladas. And he runs into the bathroom. And once again, we have bathroom shenanigans with her shaking the outhouse. And the two of them, while he's taking a shit, singing back and forth, hey, baby, ooh, baby, hey, baby, ooh, baby. Yeah, I know I'm terrible at this.
Oh,
Hey, you okay?
oh, some damn enchiladas.
Oh. You gonna be all right?
Oh.
He gets stabbed through the outhouse a couple of times. And then we start the going back and people getting picked off left and right. The stutterer goes and tries to get Robin to be with him, and she kind of laughs at him. And then he goes and talks to Violet, and she doesn't have time for him. So he's kind of bummed out, and he turns around. He gets killed. Robin also gets killed in the bunk. Violet has one of the more interesting deaths because she's basically doing the goth robot, this weird interpretive dance, and she is killed. I guess in an original deleted scene, she had a way more graphic murder where I guess she got sliced in the vagine. I'm not a big fan of this movie. There are people who are truthers for it, but in the grand scheme of things, I guess it's better than Takes Manhattan, but not much. More bodies appear. Pam loses Tommy. Tommy ends up beating the shit out of Junior, and we get more of Tommy in his head just hearing, "Die, die, Tommy, die, die, Tommy." just playing in his head over and over, and he's, constantly in the movie, he's like grabbing his head, like, like straining, trying to figure out his mental state. Fake ass Jason shows up, and we finally get to see him. Reggie screams like a girl. Jason gets hit by a fucking plow. Pam has a chainsaw fight with him while he's got his machete kind of parrying the chainsaw shots. There is another showdown in a barn. Tommy shows up, and him and Jason kind of mix it up. Jason slices him across the chest. Tommy stabs him with his pocket knife in the thigh. And we have a scene in the upper part of the barn where they're hiding, and fake-ass Jason comes up, and there's a scuffle, and Tommy saves the day, and fake-ass Jason falls onto spikes underneath the barn, which is kind of random. There's giant spikes underneath it, but sure, okay, whatever. And revealed, the mask comes off, and it is Roy, the paramedic. And after that, they're, at the hospital, and the sheriff's talking to Pam. He goes, talking about how, how it must have been hard, He goes to go check a body, and it turns out it's his son, Joey. And he used the Jason story to get revenge. So Pam goes in. Tommy, of course, is having hallucinations that Jason's in his room. And then Pam comes in to see him, and he's hiding wearing the Jason mask and with a knife. And we cut to black while it zooms in on his mask and the eyes. I even now, I still hate the fact that it was fake Jason. I know some people like to call this the Season of the Witch of the Friday the 13th series, but at least Season of the Witch tried to be something different. This tried to repeat, and they tried to put the Jason curse, I guess, on Tommy once again. Glad they kind of disavowed this when Part 6 comes out. It's not a horrible movie, but all things considered, it's not a great movie either. I think I'm at about a 5.5 out of 10 on it. It was okay. It wasn't great. There are some scenes I genuinely love, but all in all, it was just not a good movie. And also proved to them why they had to bring Jason back. And boy, did they ever, and I can't wait to do Part 6. That's a good one. So anyway, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. I know this is kind of an abbreviated episode, but I really don't have much to say about this particular movie in the series. It exists. I felt John Shepherd did the best he could with the material he was given. He does bring like this intenseness, and he always sweating in this damn movie. And if you rent or buy Crystal Lake Memories, if you're into the whole Friday the 13th series, it's worth the buy. You'll learn more of what the actors, some problems they had with the director and the director's attitude. Danny Steinmann, yeah. Just it's a weird casting for a director, and just an odd movie. So tell me your thoughts on the movie. Anyway, hopefully I will be getting another one up in the next day or two. Thank you very much. Take care, and goodbye.